your seva, but it's not nobody here. You have because Rastray Rahu gave class and he was speaking like this. Microphone is off and he was speaking, so you could not hear online.
We must see this moment because yesterday microphone working because Mataji Ira start this class in microphone and B. Mataji Ira, I am and Guru Nishka and all be from microphone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sunday, not yesterday.
Sunday. So what I'm saying is you have to check that it's working because you're here.
No problem, but I must understand all the system.
Yeah,
Because
I can
what
show it.
I see, microphone not work. Okay.
I think I told you before. It's very simple, but
I know where on or something moment, but I don't understand
Yeah.
this moment why in
okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha
Prabhupada Paramahansa Parivrajapacharya Shtaita Satashishnatadam Swamis Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai All glories to the Saint devotees, all glories to the Saint devotees, all glories to the Saint devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru, all glories to Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiti. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for coming to Srimad Bhagavatam class. We will be reading from the 5th canto, Chapter 7, the activities of King Bharat, and text number 7. It's a prose, so no meter, and I will just butcher my way through it. That's not butcher, but you know what I mean. Evam karma vishuddhya vishuddha sattvasyanta Hridayaksha Sharire Brahmani Bhagavati Vasudeve Mahapurusha Rupo Palakshane Shri Vatsa Kaustubbhavana Madhari Dara Gadadi Rupalakshite Nitya Purusha Rilikitenatmani Purusha Rupena Virochamana Uchaishtaram Bhakti Ranudinam Edhamana Rajayata Jaya Jayata. Okay, word by word, many words. Evam, thus, karma vishuddhya, by offering everything for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
By offering everything in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
And not desiring any results of his pious activities.
And not desiring any results of his pious activities.
Vishuddha Sattvasya,
Vishuddha Sattvasya,
of Bharat Maharaj,
of Bharat Maharaj,
whose existence was completely purified.
whose existence was completely purified.
Anta,
Anta,
Hridaya,
Hridaya,
Akasha,
Akasha,
Sharire,
Sharire,
the super soul within the heart,
the super soul in the heart,
as meditated on by yogis.
is meditated on by yogis.
As meditated on by yogis.
As meditated on by yogis.
Brahmani,
Brahmani,
into impersonal Brahman which is worshipped by impersonalist jnanis.
into impersonal Brahman, which is worshipped by impersonalist Brahman.
Bhagavati, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva,
Vasudeva,
the son of Vasudev.
the son of Vasudeva,
Lord Krishna,
Lord Krishna,
Mahapurusha,
Mahapurusha,
of the Supreme Person.
of the Supreme Person,
Rupa,
Rupa,
of the form.
of the form,
Upalakshane,
Upalakshane,
having the symptoms.
and the symptoms,
Srivatsa,
Srivatsa,
the mark on the chest of the Lord.
the mark of the chest of the Lord,
Kaustuba,
Kaustuba,
the Kaustuba gem used by the Lord.
the Kaustuba gem used by Lord,
Vanamala,
Vanamala,
what is that?
the lamp from flowers, from flowers.
Yes, yes. Where do you know this from? Yes, the Gorati. You remember? What is it?
But in Gaurarati it's about lens long
one
Mhm.
still fit.
But it said
it's not
Gala
so
Deshe, Gala Deshe Vanamala.
one also.
Yeah, yeah. Gala Deshe Vanamala, Kole Jalamala. So there's also description Goranga wearing this beautiful,
No artificial flowers.
no artificial flowers, but nice smell. Every morning we get these flowers in the anyway. Yes, this kind of flower. But they're spiritualized now. Aridara, by the disc and conch shell.
By this and conch shell.
Gada Adipihi.
Gada Adipihi.
Gada is the
Club.
club. And Adipi means other symbols. By the club and other symbols. By the club and other symbols. Upalakshite, being recognized.
Being recognized.
Nicha Purusha Hrit Likitena, which is situated in the heart of his own devotee, like an engraved picture. Atmani, in his own mind. Purusha Rupena, by his personal form. Virochamane, shining. Uchaistaram, on a very high level.
On the very high level.
Bhakti,
Bhakti,
devotional service.
devotional service.
Anudinam,
Anudinam,
day after day.
day after day.
Edamana,
Edamana,
increasing.
increasing.
Raya,
Raya,
possessing force.
possessing force.
Ajayata,
Jayata,
appeared.
appeared.
Okay, translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
jai. Can we please close the door? I don't know, it's really cold actually. We just came back from the woods where it was way colder, but it's still a little cold. Translation. In this way, being purified by ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharat was completely uncontaminated. His devotional service unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, increased day after day. Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the original personality of Godhead, manifest as the supersoul Paramatma, as well as the impersonal Brahman. Yogis meditate upon the localized Paramatma situated in the heart. Jnanis worship the impersonal Brahman as the supreme absolute truth, and devotees worship Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, whose transcendental body is described in the Shastras. His body is decorated with the Srivatsa, the Kaustuba jewel, and a flower garland, and his hands hold a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. Devotees like Narada always think of him within their hearts. Purport. Lord Vasudeva, or Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is manifest within the hearts of yogis in his Paramatma feature, and he is worshipped as impersonal Brahman by jnanis. The Paramatma feature is described in the Shastras as having 4 hands, holding disc, conch shell, lotus flower, and club, as confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2-8. Kechit swadehanta hridaya vakashe pradeshamatram purusham vasantam chaturbucham kanjaratanga shankha gadadharam dharandaya smaranti. Paramatma is situated in the hearts of all living beings. He has 4 hands, which hold 4 symbolic weapons. All devotees who think of the Paramatma within the heart worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the temple deity. They also understand the impersonal features of the Lord and his bodily rays, the Brahman effulgence. Om Jnana Timirandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaram Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vide Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Rishatarine. Okay, once more the verse. In this way, being purified by ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharat was completely uncontaminated. His devotional service unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, increased day after day. Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, is the original personality of Godhead, manifest as the super soul, Paramatma, as well as the impersonal Brahman. Yogis meditate upon the localized Paramatma, situated in the hearts, and Jnanis worship the impersonal Brahman as the supreme absolute truth, whereas devotees worship Vasudeva, the supreme personality of Godhead, whose transcendental body is described in the Shastras. His body is decorated with the Srivatsa, the Kaustuba, jewel, and the flower garland, and his hands hold the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower. Devotees like Narada always think of him within their hearts. Okay, so continuing with this narrations of the activities of King Bharat. So Sergey, yesterday you read one text also.
Yes, it
Was you?
What question? Sorry.
You.
You had lecture yesterday morning also.
Yesterday be Monday. And Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
Give lecture.
Okay, I misunderstood. Okay, so then I guess we are correct with this verse. And so this is a continuation of the previous verse, because it says in this way. So what was the way? The way was that Maharaj Bharat performed all his various sacrifices, and it was described how the sacrifices were happening and how Maharaj Bharat was worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the demigods. Like they compare to the limbs of Krishna. The demigods are compared to the limbs, and so Maharaj Bharat was offering his oblations to the different limbs. And so in this way, eventually he is worshipping Krishna in this way. And here, there's a strong focus on Vasudeva somehow. It would be interesting to go a little bit into that. Or only Prabhupada actually translates here as Vasudeva. In the verse also. But why Vasudeva? That would be an interesting question. Sometimes that is a question, no? We have the first verse in the Bhagavatam which sets the scene. And then in the end, Satyam Param. So, it's about Vasudeva. So the question is, who is Vasudeva? Why we worship? Why is the first verse of Bhagavatam not starting with Krishna, and meditating on Krishna, but we meditate on Vasudeva? And somebody might be a little bit confused, but here Prabhupada interpret, he describes that Lord Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Actually, this title Vasudeva, it comes from Vasudeva. There's a long A and a short A. So it's important to know this little difference. If somebody asks you, okay, Bhagavatam doesn't speak about Krishna as Supreme Personality, it speaks about Vasudeva. But this is just in connection with Vasudeva, who is the father of Krishna. And then the son of personality, in Sanskrit you can make a derivative where there's a long A, for example, in this case, and you're called the name of your father as like an anga of your father. So this is kind of a description of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva. But anyway, the topic here is a little different. We hear about the different aspects of the Absolute Truth. There's a famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. How does it start? Vadanti tattatam vidas tattam yachgyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shakyate. That this one advaya jnana, this one undividable truth, advaitic, or this one supreme thing, manifests itself in three aspects. So it's one, but it's in three aspects. And these aspects are called Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, and Bhagavan. So Brahman, and Paramatma, and Bhagavan. These three aspects. And these three aspects are the goal of the different yogis. And it's said in the translation of this verse here that the jnanis, so those who are interested in knowledge, that study the scripture and want to understand the absolute truth through knowledge, they come to the conclusion that the highest truth is Brahman. Brahman means the energy that is pervading everything, the spiritual energy. Whereas the yogis, after they do meditation for a long time, they see that in their hearts there is a personality, which is Paramatma. And then the devotees, of course, they worship Krishna in his Bhagavan aspect or his personal feature. And this described, Bhagavan is the highest aspect, because he has it within himself all the different qualities that are only partially represented in the other aspects. So Krishna has three potencies, the Satchit and Ananda energies. We hear about this also, that we as the spirit soul are Sat, Chit, Ananda. So Sat means eternal, Chit means full of consciousness, and Ananda means full of bliss. And the Sat aspect, the eternity aspect, is connected to the Brahman, to the energy. The Chit aspect, or the cognizance of everything, is connected to Paramatma. And then Ananda, the bliss, is connected to Krishna himself. So only if we really connect to Krishna as a person, as Bhagavan, then we can feel the real bliss. That is basically the message or the truth behind these different energies. And there are different examples or analogies of how these three aspects can be described in this material world, like with material examples. One is, there's the story, right, where probably you've heard this before. So let's imagine there's some village in India and they just built a new railway, so like a train track. And these people there, they have never seen a train, they don't know what a train is. And so the people are told, today, 7 p.m., it's already dark at that time, this train is coming and it's gonna stop here in the village. And so the villagers, they're very curious, they come all there to see what is a train, they wanna know. And then shortly before 7, in the faraway distance, they can see there's some light coming. And they say, some of the villagers, they say, okay, yeah, so the train is just light, alright. And they go away. And then the train comes closer, and then the others who are still there, they say, oh, that's how the train looks. Nice, from outside there's windows and there's different wagons, so that's a train. And they also leave. But the last spectators, they're standing there waiting until the train really stops, and they see that the doors open, they go inside the train, and they also meet the driver. There's actually a driver there that they can speak to, and that they can have a relationship with, that they can ask questions and find out more about what is this train, basically. So this is one example. Another one is the mountain, right? We just came from the mountains, and from far away you can just see it's a huge thing, and it just seems like never ending. But then if you go closer, you can see there's a clear shape, and if you're on top or if you go up the mountain, then you have a total picture of the relations with everything around it. So in this way you can understand three aspects of the Absolute Truth. But then of course, for the devotees, Prabhupada says here also that the devotees think, that all devotees who think of the Paramatma within the heart worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the temple deity. They also understand the impersonal features of the Lord and His bodily rays, the Brahman effulgence. So the devotees, they understand all the aspects, the Bhakti yogis, whereas Jnanis and also yogis, Hatha yogis, let's say, they only get the partial understanding of what is the Absolute Truth. And I want to focus a little bit on that. I didn't have so much time to prepare, so I hope it will not be too chaotic. But on that aspect, that as devotees, we really want to focus on this personal relationship that we have with Krishna. And of course, there's this famous verse that Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Prabhupada quotes it a lot, is from Brahma Samhita, that the pure devotee, having his eyes anointed with pure love of God, he can actually see Krishna as he is. Basically, this verse is describing how to really understand God, you have to have bhakti, you have to have this pure devotion, the real feeling towards God, real love. It is also said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyascha smitata tatomam tattato gyatam vishate tat anantaram. Krishna says that only through bhakti can I be understood in tattva, in truth. Otherwise it's not possible to understand who I am and what real love is about, actually. And so the pure devotee, he sees Krishna everywhere. And that's always an interesting fact or point to think about. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, I'm just learning the verse so I haven't got it down yet, but it is said that a pure devotee, when he looks into the world, he doesn't just see trees and rivers and people. What he sees is all moving, but also immoving objects, that they are Krishna. He just sees Ishtadeva Spurti. He has a Spurti or a vision of his Ishtadev there. So he basically, and then the question is, okay, does the pure devotee really walk around in the world and just see Krishna, Krishna, wherever he looks, there's Krishna in his two-handed form playing flute there, in every tree? Or is it more that he just sees that Krishna's energies are at work, he sees Krishna's hand behind everything? These two perspectives are there, maybe we can discuss in the end a little bit. I would like to hear from others also. It's always something that I kind of wrestle with a little bit. But the point is that the pure devotee, he can perceive Krishna everywhere. There's one beautiful story of Srila Prabhupada, how once Sudam Maharaj, he came to see Srila Prabhupada. Then he was not Sudam Maharaj, he was Sudam Das. It was in the very early days. I think it was in New York actually, in the 60s. And I'm just going to read from so this is the transliteration, or the transcription from his Prabhupada memories. He's saying, one afternoon, after his nap, Prabhupada's nap, I was bringing him a little rasgulla and some drink. The sun was going down when I started to enter the room of Srila Prabhupada. And this room faced the backyard. The whole room seemed purple and gold. If you know Sudam Prabhu, he is like a very special character. Like he's really, he's very famous because of his being an actor. Even before Krishna consciousness was an actor, and then he did many dramas. So he's very, very enlivening to listen from him. You can later on check it out. So the whole room seemed purple and gold, and there was a certain energy in the room. Srila Prabhupada was chanting and crying tears of ecstasy. He said, well, we didn't have the nectar of devotion yet, so I got alarmed, backed out of the room with the tray, and went to Govinda Dasi. I asked her, Govinda, what's happening? Is Prabhupada okay? Is he having a fit? Like, he's crying, is something really, is a strong pain, and what's up? And she said, no, that's just Srila Prabhupada having a relationship with Krishna. That's Krishna consciousness. I said, wow. So I went back 5 minutes later. Srila Prabhupada was still there, and this time he stopped me from leaving. He said, Sudama, don't leave. I'm crying because of the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. By his mercy, I'm allowed to see Krishna. I see him right now over those grasses. And Sudama says, oh man, it was so heavy that I started crying. And Prabhupada said, why are you crying? I said, because you're so powerful and merciful. I have never met a soul like you. And Prabhupada said, that is Krishna's arrangement. But so Prabhupada is sitting there in the room, he's looking outside the window into the backyard. And he's telling this devotee, look, Krishna is right there, can you see him? And he cannot see. But that's the vision of the pure devotee. Wherever he sees Krishna right there. Very, very powerful. And not only does he see Krishna, but he sees himself specifically in that relationship to Krishna also. He sees Krishna in that form that he has in his heart. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. And that's what I want to speak a little about, or what I find very interesting also. In the short time that I was preparing, I couldn't find the reference, really. But that's my understanding, if you can correct me if I'm wrong. But for the pure devotee, the Paramatma in the heart is not as it's described here as, with 4 hands and conch shell disc, but it's actually a 2-handed Shamsundar, who's there in the heart and reciprocating with him. So the pure devotee, he sees his Ishtadev, his desired form of Krishna, that he has a personal relationship with. And so it's very, very personal, and it's very, very intimate also. It is said that the devotee, he doesn't really share that so much in public. What is his desired form of Krishna and how he's relating with him. It's very intimate. One is not supposed to speak about that in public so much. But at the same time, I think all of us, we should really aim to develop this relationship. So there's an eternal relationship that we have with Krishna. And this is set in one way. And so one could say, okay, why should we at our very conditioned state now speculate about, what is our eternal relationship with Krishna, and who we are in the spiritual world and how we relate to Krishna. But the other approach is also to say that, yes, we're conditioned, and we might not be, if we think about Krishna, it's always with our own positions. We're not fully seeing through the eyes anointed with love, as it's described in the Brahma Samhita. But still, by really trying to get these feelings for Krishna, then that will also help us on our path. And that's why we have these forms of Krishna here on the altar, for example. They are supposed, Krishna himself comes in that form to help us to relate to him in personal feature. And they're all a little different. And because of that, each of us, we can have different relationships with them, and we will have a stronger affection or attraction to one form to another. And another devotee might have another favorite form. But that's not in any way wrong, but it's just individual. And so I think it is really, really powerful, even as practicing devotees, as very conditioned devotees, to have this inspiration and this desire to connect to the Lord in a specific form and try to find a form of Krishna that we can really relate to. Also because that will help us in our daily service. And because all of these deities, they're bona fide, Prabhupada said, it's like the post box is outside. If you put a letter in the letter box, it will reach the destination if it's from the official post office. But if it's just like any box and you throw in a letter, it will not go far. It will just stay there. So similarly, these deities, because they've been installed, and because Krishna has taken residence in them, they will deliver our prayers, and they will reciprocate with us to Krishna. And they, in turn, over time, will reveal to us, okay, am I your Ishtadev, or is it another deity? But they will help us on that path and guide us if we really have the desire. But we have to make the first step of connecting with them. And that's kind of the karma vishuddhya that is described here. So the karma vishuddhya for previous ages, let's say for this age of Maharaj Bharat, was that devotees performed yagyas to satisfy the Supreme. And it is said here, by these ritualistic sacrifices, the heart of Maharaj Bharat was completely uncontaminated. And his devotional service to Krishna increased day after day. So we know that for this age, the yagya is the Sankirtan yagya, the chanting of the holy name in congregation, but also by ourselves. So if we learn to connect this yagya to our Ishtadev, to a personal form of Krishna that we can relate to, it will increase our Krishna consciousness very much. That was my experience when I first started, meditating on this a little bit, trying to develop this kind of relationship. And of course, for all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, if, like, let's say we don't have an Ishtadev right now, we don't have this personal form of Krishna that you're so much attracted to, the first personalities that we go through are Gauritai. That's what Srila Prabhupada installed here in the West, especially for people like you and me who are coming from very sinful backgrounds, who need the mercy, all the mercy we can get, and Gauritai really represent that and are giving that mercy. So through Gauritai we come to Radha Krishna. That's how it's described in the scriptures, how the Goswamis are setting it down for us. And it's always through, right? Through Guru Parampara, through Gauritai to Radha Krishna. And so one thing that I find is very, very potent in our devotional service is to try to dedicate all our actions, all our activities be it japa, be it service, any service that is maybe also not directly connected on the altar to the deities, like cleaning some room or preparing, I don't know, anything, what we do in this house, doing it for the deities. That was really like a game changer in my devotional life when I heard a lecture of my Guru Maharaj where he was explaining this and how he himself developed this relationship with the deities. He was worshipping Gauritai deities for 25 years, his own personal deities. And he said they brought him, then Radheshyam appeared. He didn't ever plan to worship Radheshyam. He was always thinking, that's for the exalted devotees. And so, but automatically by the worship of Gauritai, Radheshyam, they will appear in our lives and we will get in direct connection with them. And in his life you can say that's kind of very visible, but it's also something very internal that each of us will have the experience of. And so whatever service we do, we offer to Gauritai. We can even do it very physically. Every time we do a service, we come to the temple room, pay our obeisances to Gauritai and ask them to accept it, like that. I found that a very powerful practice, and so what I'm saying here is it's more a personal experience, and I'm not saying everybody has to do it. It's just what I did, and I want to remind myself also how powerful that felt when I did this, and how much the connection with the deities also grows through such a kind of exchange. And we know that our deities, our Gauritais, are very special. For example, Tama Krishna Maharaj was saying back in the 90s that these are the most potent Gauritais in the whole Hare Krishna movement. He said about these Gauritais specifically. Prabhupada said that these are very special. So we should always have this great respect and faith and love for our deities. And in this way, it's just that we have to really develop this desire also, right, to find our Ishtadev, to really connect to Krishna in a very personal way in this unique relationship that is there for us. And for this, we also have to really see in our daily activities, how is that furthering my connection to Krishna? How is that helping me to connect with my personal form of Krishna that I have a relationship with? And for example, it's one thing with the Hare Krishna mantra, right? When we chant Hare Krishna mantra, last week I was doing a japa workshop, and then I was explaining the meaning of the names to the newcomers, and afterwards Hanuman Prabhu messaged me and he said, "Oh, so I've been chanting the Hare Krishna mantra wrong for all these years." He joined in the 80s, and I never understood that this is the meaning. I thought this Ram is about Lord Ram. Of course. And of course, that's the thing. That's the whole thing behind what I'm trying to say, is that there are all the rules and regulations, and they're all clear statements from the scriptures. But at the same time, because Krishna consciousness and this relationship with God is very personal, for each of us it will be a little different, and we have to be very clear. Okay, where am I heading with this? What is the meaning for me also? Of course, always on the guidance of Guru Sadhu Shastra. And but for example, when we speak about Hare Krishna, we understand Hare means Radha, Krishna means Krishna. But then again, who is Krishna, right? If you have a particular deity in mind when you chant Hare Krishna, please Krishna, let me connect with you. You can just speak, okay, Krishna, please let me serve you. But it's way more powerful if you connect. If you have a picture of who is Krishna, who is that Krishna I'm thinking of? Is it him? Is it, some deity that I have in mind? It's really, really enhancing that meditation. And there's always been, even in the past when Srila Prabhupada was here, this question, who is Rama? What does Rama mean, right? And Prabhupada also gave different answers in different circumstances. Again, making this point, it's your personal relationship also that comes into play. And so these were just some thoughts that I was thinking about, that we have to really be meditating on this, going deeper into the why are we doing this, and how can we increase our desire to connect with Krishna more personally and intensely every day, because it is said here also that Maharaj Bharat, his devotional service unto Vasudev, Lord Krishna, increased day after day. Every day he was feeling more love for Krishna, and he was doing more or better service. So in our lives, in my life, I can see it's not always like that. I feel sometimes nothing's happening really. I don't feel like I'm progressing or that I'm getting more devotional, more connected with Krishna. And that means somewhere in the process I'm not doing things right. The process is correct, but somewhere in the process I have to increase my quality and understanding. And so I think especially in these daily activities like chanting Hare Krishna, singing for the deities, cooking for them, offering arti, we have to be really focused on, okay, who are these personalities? Who am I doing this for? And by doing that, we become more Krishna conscious. Essentially, because this Krishna conscious movement, it is not just following a blinded process, right? And Srila Prabhupada really made that clear in the beginning when he speaks about Krishna consciousness. He speaks about the Hare Krishna movement. It's something moving. And on which verse this term Krishna consciousness is based? Where Prabhupada got this from? Anybody knows? Rupa Goswami, yes. Yes, this one. Yes. So this is a very beautiful verse from Patyavali, and Rupa Goswami says that, so Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitanati, it's translated as to be absorbed in the mellow taste of executing devotional service to Krishna. And it is elaborated in that verse that pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is, tatra laulyam, apimulyam ekalam, it's the only route, right? This intense greed, the intense desire to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. So, this intensity, this strong desire, this intense greed to really, okay, today I'm going to achieve Krishna, today. And then we know, utsa nishtaya dhairya, there has also to be tolerance, patience. So both has to be there. Today I will achieve Krishna, or maybe I didn't achieve, but I also have some patience, maybe tomorrow. But then you go on like this every day. And by this, the intensity of the desire will increase, and more you will actually make rapid advancement and get this very highest thing of this that is attainable in this world, this connection with Krishna and pure devotional service. So yeah, these were just some thoughts. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but I thought of sharing that. Thank you very much for listening. I think it's 8:30 in 2 seconds. So we can stop here. Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Jai, Jai.
More patience. This is actually stealing one of the mysteries. For your this is total corruption. The printing. Without gold. Taking from everyone. And then they go and say, hey, can we buy Greenland? And we want to buy. They don't have money. So
Yes.
Krishna consciousness. Kannst du? Du hättest eigentlich heute Morgen.
Also du hast ja обычно оставляю, да?
Ja, aber du hättest schon wieder fast.
Нас доля.
Gas geben, bevor du kannst. Nein, das nicht. Wochenlang vorbereiten. Okay, das heisst nächste Woche. Ja, das heisst jetzt einfach. Bist du busy? Aber weißt du, ich mache Prabhupada AI fertig und nachher schaue ich Prabhupada. Kannst du wieder vorschreiben? Und dann schicke ich es dir und du fährst es weiter.
Я просто понимаю вопрос, чтобы качаться переводить все лекции. Может, где ничего не понятно, сидишь как вообще ничего не улыбается.
Weißt du, auf dich. Weißt du,
Это вы сюда вытянули, да?
der Ochsen am Ende ist für diese Prabhupada. Das ist einfach die Lecture jemand vorliest. Nein, wir machen künstliche Intelligenz. Machen wir Vorlesung. Moderne Leben. Sri Krishna, Krishna